once again. Trav, you're coming in fresh, so tell me your thoughts.
I mean, I think we all doubted them in the semi-finals. Navi looked a little bit above them when we watched them in the quarterfinals, at least. But we came into the semis and Crazy Racoon just dominated them. Straight 3-0. Brilliant performance from them, and that's why I've got my faith in them for this match. Really solid team. We've seen them, all day long now, so we should be familiar with how their game is. Their drafts have looked decent. They've been playing really well. And I've got full faith in them.
For Crazy Racoon,
Nobrio been a standout player for the team today, looking really sharp. But on the other side of things, we've got an equally sharp team coming hot off a match against another team that we looked at earlier in the day. Zeta Division thought they were in pocket. Not at all the truth, Arc. And now Reject has got to bring it. Again, Trav thought they were in pocket. Not at all the truth, Arc. And now Reject has got to bring it.
I want to see it get destroyed, slaughtered. Milkrio was playing the Brock that should have really been breaking up the map better, because that's how you expose an Ollie and really take care of it. And that was almost the set which they lost, but they didn't at the end. They brought it back around. I just have a feeling. I don't know, when everyone's siding so far on the other side, I've kind of got to play the underdog card here. I think Reject might definitely be a
These are all the rewards.
Going against the grain would have worked out great for you before with Niwa, but you know what? We've got a whole new setup here. So we took a look at the maps. This is what we got coming up. Game modes and map. Anything that might be a factor here. Anything that could trip up the players. This is all easy peasy for them. Trav, I know your answer.
Honestly,
yeah, at this point it should be pretty easy. I mean, it's a very good mix of long range, short range. To be fair, it kind of flicks in and out of either one. Some maps with a good few walls in there as well, so we'll see a few throwers, a little bit of long range here and there as well. So I think it's going to be a great match. I think all these maps line up pretty good for a finals. Give us a good mix of all the different metas on the long range, the short range, mid range. I think pretty solid.
Interesting. Both these teams have exhibited great adaptability throughout the day, too, in draft and in game. Arc, same kind of vibe as Trav. None of these maps are really going to throw anything off for either team, though.
No, I think that, these are the best players and teams in the world, for reasons. So when they come into a monthly finals, they're prepping for every single round. Like if you come in prepping for the quarterfinal stages, then you're asking for trouble. You're not going to be able to go the distance. Whereas the best teams are those that plan for the entire day, because everyone should be expecting to win it. If you're coming in with a losing mentality, then guess what? You're probably going to lose, aren't you? Let's be honest. It's been a long day for these teams as well. You've got to remember that is now, I think, a really great thing about the format is that it puts teams to the test. And I was really impressed by Reject. I didn't really have them down as being that team that was going to flourish throughout the day as much as they have so far. But hey, I thought that about Crazy Racoon after that first quarterfinals match as well. Maybe they're about to do the very thing that I am expecting them not to do, and just really now come out with all guns blazing as the team to be in this region. I thought that was going to be Zeta, and I was wrong then. So hey, we've been wrong a lot today, but all I know is it's the grand finals. I'm damn excited for it.
Well, you're the one that went with Reject. I believe they've got, if it's just based on aura, easy W. They got the style, they got the look, they got the performance, they got the cool team names. But so does Crazy Racoon. This is impossible for me. I'm learning so much here. I want to say I follow the pack, but I really just went for the team that inspired the cutest mental image. How did you select, Trev?
I mean, after their semi-finals performance, it just seemed that little bit more convincing than Reject. I know we kind of came into this one, as Ark said, he predicted Zeta to win it all. I did the exact same thing, so I'm kind of, upon thinking about it a bit more, I'm doubting myself, but also after Crazy Racoon's semi-finals performance, I feel like I'd be stupid not to have gone for them, because they did just look very, very good.
Well, two great-looking teams. A lot to be proud of here for everything they've already exhibited in this tournament. But it all comes down to this. We're heading into the grand finals. This is the Brawl Stars Championship East Asia monthly final, the first one of the season. A great time to set your reputation for what is to come in an incredible competitive season. Any thoughts to lead us off with as we head into this first match there? Ark, take it away.
86%. You know, that's we gotta start there. I think. Loving
Yes,
these new little
having
tips and tricks, by the way, as we do them out live. They're really, really great for the more casual player and anyone that wants to kind of just get a little bit of an understanding. Maybe you're new to Brawl. This is your first time into the competitive scene for the BSC, and if you are, welcome. Great to have you here, and we hope that you stick around for the entire year because you're in for a treat if you do. Grand finals, the first grand finals of the year, Trav. It's an exciting one for sure, and I agree with what Celso was saying earlier. I think these are, without doubt, the two teams that deserve to be in this grand finals, and it's going to be a spicy one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if Reject can beat Zeta Division like that, then they definitely deserve to be here. And the same for Crazy Raccoon. If you're sweeping Navi in the semi-finals, you deserve to be in the final as well. So I think this is going to be an absolute treat for us, for the viewers, for even the players as well. Because if this goes as convincing as some of the other games, I'll be very surprised. I'm kind of expecting a set number 5 to be deciding it all here, as these two teams have just been absolutely on point for the entire day.
Heist, Kevin.
Wow, draft coming in now for Kaboom Canyon. Of course, Heist.
Okay.
Check open, but hasn't really been taken up by East Asia today. Interestingly so. Berry, Crow, and Carl. Berry, Colette, and Melody. I really like them all, to be completely honest. But Angelo's certainly going to be in that mid zone. Potentially Eve, another good option. Bell, certainly in the hands of Shu, as we've already seen today, a real threat.
All right,
first pick. Don't mind it at all. Very much a given. I mean, sitting in that mid with a bush with that additional range, it's going to be good all day long. And the Grigri, as we know, a real thorn in the side. No pun intended, but kind of. I mean, it's a solid first pick for Crazy Raccoon. You can't fault it.
Oh, Chuck. All right, Chuck.
Pick of the devil.
No, I like the Chuck. Very solid. It's been, you know, there's going to be some defensive measure that they might be able to, you know, kind of deal with it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Cordelius, that kind of thing. And even that, like, Chuck has been coming, I feel, at least in my opinion, less and less used, banned. Just because I feel like teams are maybe getting better at dealing with it, better at managing it. But also an Angelo on top of that, very good pick. You really can't fault an Angelo. Being able to slide across the water on this map, the range, being able to deal with other sharpshooters. And there you go, yeah, the Cordelius comes in to be able to deal with that Chuck. We'll see if that is the case though, because even then, sometimes it still gets overrun. If you're in the wrong position, if you're not respawning at the right time, if you get sniped out of nowhere by an Angelo, everything can still go wrong. But yeah, 4 very good picks so far.
Alright, so Cord, Juju, Angelo.
Yeah, Angelo's a bit scary though as well from Reject. We saw it already work out earlier today in Heist, and you know, if you've got that aggressive comp, I don't know that I'm necessarily convinced that Crazy Raccoon do though. It can be overwhelmed on the defense, so that's a bit of a saving grace here for Reject, who've got the final pick. Amber coming in, going to take away a lot of that bush, but that's going to have not the best of synergies at all with the Juju. You kind of want to leave those bushes there present so she can have an additional range and keep you back in that spawn side area. And not sure kind of what the thought process is there in regards to that synergy. It's definitely a great brawler, no doubt about it. And you've got to be just very careful in that regard as to what you do with that burn of the bush. Definitely going to have a good time burning the bush on the defensive side, and that's where we see teams utilizing a lot of that to try to hide their positioning, to try to heal up. So I get it for that for sure. They're just going to be a little bit cautious on it. Now we see that Bell pick, and I've been so impressed with Shu today on that Bell. So it is a dangerous pick, a dangerous third and final pick for Reject here, and that's not a position that I find myself saying too often on this kind of map and mode and a brawler like Bell. It doesn't strike you as being particularly threatening, but for all intents and purposes, it absolutely is in this scenario.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see these two brawls going over the water. Milcrow sliding into the bush nice and fast, and use the gadget there as well to get some extra speed to get forwards and into the bush. Chuck sets up the first hold. Moya in a great position, 8% already taken, and Tentai just trying to find a way forwards. Might be waiting for the Chuck upon his return, but
let's go!
Ridiculous, straight onto the save. This honestly might be done right
ridiculous
here.
Damage, ridiculous damage at this start.
So much.
Ridiculous.
That lead.
This damage is so.
Nah, come on, Reject. Come on, boys. You can't leave an Amber on the safe. Not in the first game. I'm siding with you guys. I'm the only person that believes in you, and you do that to me? That's done me so dirty. Chuck going in, immediately taken out into the round by Tensai as CR push forwards. I mean, what is this, man? Come on.
Tensai just takes this moment to just walk all the way up and finish that safe off. I mean, that is convincing from Crazy Raccoon, but I will say
did it, boys.
everything can change from that point.
CR,
that is just one
won
push
the first
with
match.
Yamba getting on the safe. You know that's going to get so much damage, and obviously they kind of had a little slip and didn't really deal with that too fast. But it was just a great start from Crazy Raccoon, and you couldn't ask for a better game one.
I mean, you gotta hand it to Crazy Raccoon. They played it exactly how they should. Dancing Flames of Amber, that gadget that you can bring out when you're on the zone, when you're on the safe rather, is just so devastating. You can't allow it. So Chuck has got this time it takes to build up the momentum. You got to place the poles, and they're not allowing the Chuck to do that. That's where Chuck can thrive. It's the early game push that really counts the Chuck, in my opinion, more than any other brawler. The Cordelia is just simply there, but if the game runs on longer than it should, it's a countermeasure. This is how you play against Chuck. You go all in early, and you go on the aggressive.
All right.
I mean, this is what's happening. This is 25% left on the safe, and they can't even kill Tensai. Never mind the rest of them. Moya might be able to pick up
This is so freaking crazy.
Just back off. Has the range advantage now. Obviously,
Like,
but
nah,
Milko
man.
slots in
Like,
this push.
nah.
That's going to give him some extended range. Gree being placed down.
Okay,
and Milko,
gotcha,
obviously,
man, gotcha,
might be able to just go up
gotcha.
and get some big damage on the safe. Tensai yet again just puts Chuck in the
Dance
realm
side,
and
dance
walks to
side.
the
He's
safe.
gonna do what
might
he
be able
did
to
a
finish
game
this one
ago.
right here, and if he doesn't, Milk Rhea will do just that. Crazy
Let's
Raccoon
go,
takes
baby.
set number 1 in one of the most convincing
Like,
sets we've seen all day.
what the hell?
This is honestly,
Tensai
this
with
is not
that
on. I'm
ending.
not having
always
this. This. You can't allow a Juju first pick. You can see why this map is so good for Juju, right? Because it doesn't look like lake or river, I guess, on this kind of particular kind of environment, but it is, and that creates that slow effect, which then really puts you in a tough spot when you're on the defense, and you got the additional range from the push. And, I mean, like, against the Chuck, which requires that setup time, you're looking to push, and Reject should be much more aware to this. I mean, it was lost in the draft, it was lost in the strategy, it was lost so immensely quickly. I mean, Celso, you're probably pretty happy about this because you're on the right side of this prediction, so I'm really happy for you. Couldn't be more pleased, honestly.
It's hard to be excited because I'm also like becoming a big Melty fan over the course of this, and 0 on the board. Like I really feel like he kind of got stopped down really hard in this match. It doesn't feel fair.
The first match is
But
perfect.
I'm gonna turn it over back to you, Ark, and tell me, is that accurate?
I'm just too demoralized to speak, honestly.
Oh, so
I mean, Batman was playing the Bell rather than Schuber, and that was for me what I thought coming into the match was going to be the biggest problem. It wasn't. They had much bigger problems than that. Against a team like Crazy Raccoon, where they're very momentum based, it hasn't been a clean day for them so far. So they need that first set in the bag, and they got it done so quickly and exactly how they should. For Reject to expect that not to be the play is unrealistic in a grand finals for East Asia.
Yeah, dive into that a little further for me there, Trav, because it seemed like, as you guys called it, from the draft, they were obviously going to have a lot of problems here, and not even ones that mechanics could pull them out of.
I mean, we said early on in the draft, Chuck was picked, and we're kind of like, even without Cordelius, people are dealing with Chuck a lot better. And then Cordelius is the next pick, and you kind of know that you're a bit finished if you're Reject in that sense. Because every time you go in, Cordelius is just going to realm you and just move out of the way, or kill you because he could do it as well. But they had such a damage lead that he didn't even really have to pick up the Chuck. He could just go for damage. It's nice to see Crazy Raccoon off to a flying start, or at least nice for 3 of us to see the Crazy Raccoon off to a flying start. But we head on into Triple Dribble in Brawl Ball. Should have a bit of a different vibe about this one. It's going to be, I'm sure, just as aggressive. But I'm hoping that Reject actually get back into it, because I don't want this to be one-sided Crazy Raccoon.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried in the slightest. Reject have got this.
They blocked
The boys
Max.
know how it's done. I literally don't doubt it. But that first one wasn't the play. I agree. I hope this goes a bit more of a distance. I hope we see a bit more back and forth. The bans for Reject being the Max, the Shade, and the Barley. Shade banned again on this same map. I can see it being one of these high sort of valued brawlers for Triple Dribble. Banned out by Reject. The bans on the side of Crazy Raccoon, the Melody, the Stew, and the Lou. First pick a Berry for Rejects. Really love that for them. Juju still available though, and I know it's a very big statement to say that you value Berry over a Juju, and of course it's going to be picked up by Crazy Raccoon. Not that it probably should be doubled down by Reject if it were left open, but Otis is what they're choosing to combine with it on the side of Crazy Raccoon. I'm still kind of not convinced by Otis, but it's been getting good results, so I can't really argue with it, but it definitely has been creeping in a little bit more than we've seen in the recent past.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Otis recently as well. It's been like surprising to me because I personally didn't think it was that good, but then you come to East Asia and it's played a fair amount, and I think that goes the same with a fair few brawlers as well. A lot of kit has been played today. We've even seen Shade come in a couple of times, which you wouldn't expect.
Alright, maybe he's
that's a good
cooking.
pick.
I can
We've seen this a few times. It was used in EU a fair amount in the Champions Invitational and in quite a lot of qualifiers that I watched as well. Maisie has been one of the go-to picks. So good stuff for Reject so far. The Berry and Maisie are two extremely good picks. I like the Juju and Crazy Raccoon side. And yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I kind of doubt the Otis a little bit. Even though it's proved itself, I feel like there's still holes in its game.
Oi.
Ooh.
Oh, Reject, guys, you're not doing yourself any favors. I mean, I lick my chops when I see all the talent go for a very one-sided prediction. I'm thinking, well, it's a chance to get ahead of the game, and maybe I'll be the only one left standing at the end of the day on a win. And like, you're bringing in what I value as the worst brawler in the game currently. I really think that Ollie is in massive need of a buff. Hugely so. It is my least enjoyable brawler to play at the moment. I think that it's got great potential, but it just hasn't come into the game in a way that I feel is in any way an argument towards, you know, Supercell always released the really strongest brawlers first in the early access. No, Ollie's on one of the weakest we've ever seen. So, it's a really tough thing to get behind here for me. I would love to see it work. I think it can potentially work in the right hands, and it almost did earlier today. We've only seen it in one instance today, and it did have a loss in knockout. Let's see what the actual loadout is going to be for it before we judge it too heavily. Not going to be running additional speed on that front, so those walls not going to be bringing anything to Ollie's kit, but you know, it's tough to get behind, but I'm hoping for Reject that they've got a plan, Trev, because they've got some bold ideas, but they're just not really coming across very well at the moment.
With the search right here.
I'm going to rotate over to this right-hand side. Milkro's doing a good job against it. Now comes swooping on in. Has a lot of heals behind him as well, and Grigri going to be placed down on the left-hand side. Might help Tensai get a few stacks, but Milkro will win this mid. And now should be able to start pinching with Melty and get pinching Melty with Moya and get him down. And does just that. Tensai still searching for this.
All right, let him cook.
Moya with a muted hand should be able to get a good amount of this gold
they kind of killed Ollie. Shoes there, Melkrio shooting. Melkrio trying to kill Melty. Melty and Melkrio fighting Moya for Tensai scores!
Very easily done, not really much to worry about. I mean, there was the potential for Ollie to have maybe some mind control there, but it takes a while with the super side to really get that off anyway.
72%,
unless you're running the right gadgets, that's also going to be an issue. So there is some defensiveness to say for Ollie, but I just don't think it's too warranted here. RC is struggling here, Reject trying to push things forwards here, but the ball's still with Moya, and that mute is going to be very
Crazy
confident.
Raccoon!
Melty's got super. I want to see that really shine through here for the Mason to warrant the pick, and almost found a bit of an opening.
Man, Moya with the ball, Moya with the ball.
But nonetheless,
Milkrio fighting Shu, kill them. Tensai versus Shu. Shu is good with Ollie because he has a lot of health. He's trying to do something. Tensai almost kills Shu. He's one shot. Melty in the bush. Shu going up. Very healing Shu, which is not a good battle, man. Take the good brawler for this map. Tensai spinning Tensai with the hyper charge. I like this play.
Trying to spray around these walls, but they don't need to over-aggress. They don't need to over-push. They should just hold control at this point. Great heal from Batman though. But Melty's taking so much damage off the shots that Batman's
Melty, he killed Melty. He killed Melty.
All alone, he goes for the gadget in. Almost able to steal the ball. Surprised he went through in there. There should be a chance of a comeback now from Reject and Crazy Raccoon. Going to be taking this game.
Shu died by Tensai, and Tensai goal! Tensai with the goal!
Great stuff from CR, just really confident drafting, but also the conviction to pull it off as well, and that's not always the case. We see many a time these drafts go the way of teams that they just kind of fumble the option and the advantage. But, you know, I've really got to question a lot of these decisions from Reject, you know. I mean, leaving open a
Tensai,
you know,
Tensai going for it.
Picking a berry instead. I think it's a very questionable start to then follow up with an Ollie as well.
Pushing,
I mean,
Reject pressuring.
Pretty
Shu with that low HP trying to get healed by Barry various times. Barry trying to heal him.
That was lacking so far in this
Tensai, Moya's chilling down there with the ball. He shots the ball
Reject
up.
off to a slightly better start, have a bit more control
Gets
this
it
time.
to Battleman. Battleman almost dies. The ball is now on their goal. They're
throws
feeling
to the
very,
right
very
side.
pressured.
Aggressive
I
forwards, trying to
think
find
this is a
little bit of
1-0,
gap
but
and
never
pick up a
say
kill along the way.
never.
Crazy Raccoon just holding firm on this
Mo
defense,
Creo
waiting for
just
their chance
trying to
break out.
push as much things as possible. Battleman with the
tough
berry
to
gets
get
the
the ball out here, but
hypercharge, the
certainly
real
doable.
pressure
Reject
to
already
land.
spot for it. Melt's got gadget as well. Now comes
Tensai jumping. He
Things
tried to
still
kill
standing, that's
Shu.
good for Reject. The heals coming in from Batman, very crucial here.
I
but
think
the
this is
neutral
a
Roy still
1-0.
present.
Yes,
Does
this is a
open up things. The
1-0.
Melty just about scaves it in. He went down before it, but just got to the ball enough to score it. Wow, very good from Reject, but immediately CR back on the offensive.
CR with the Moya almost did it.
Hypnotize Moya here, but a couple of kills on the way makes it a 3v1. Luckily enough for him, Melty was respawning, but a full health Greedy
Chilling up here.
really difficult to deal with here.
Chilling up
luckily
there.
enough for him doesn't get slowed by it. Three people in the spawn of
chilling
Reject
up
holding
there.
firm on the defense.
Tensai right here.
Yeah,
Right down here with the surge
slowly you see from the great group from Milk Rio, just really
That's you.
everyone on the side of Reject in a perilous position there and very open.
Melty right up there. Otis Moya with the gadget.
Melty can't do
With the
anything about it.
hypercharge.
It's a 3 versus 1. The ball
Pass
being
for
pushed through.
Tensai.
Oh, Shu! Unbelievable defense, but can he hold it? He does! Unreal from Reject with 30 seconds remaining. That was crazy!
I mean,
What
crazy
just
defense, but
happened?
terrible offense too. They had the ball back about 3 times and missed past it, gave it back. It was really bad from CR there. They should be punishing that. And Melty has a super, gonna miss it on to the one who needs to get it on. The Batman gets muted. He can't clear the ball.
To Batman.
Jumps away. He's given the ball. It's another terrible pass by CR.
Let's go CR by Moya. They go. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Uses of
Don't
all
get
these
the
games to
overtime.
save a goal to one of the worst. What are you doing? I just don't understand.
Shoot there.
Reject are
Shoot there.
obviously
Chilling.
very nervous to the table.
Moya,
And
Moya,
CR know it. They
Tensai
can smell
trying
the
to
blood in the
carry
water. They are
Battleman
coming
with the
in.
super.
What a
Moya
security
with
goal
the
from
goal.
Moya. And as quickly as that, the lead diminished.
Unbelievable
Crazy
for
Raccoon
Moya.
just absolutely embarrassed Reject there.
What just happened?
I'm just soaking it in. It just feels good to be back on the winning
Wait, I'm
team.
going on a slight break.
We made the right
Be
choice
back in
here,
like
folks.
a
Crazy
minute.
Raccoon coming out ahead once again, and I want to dive in a little further about the play we saw there. There was a hesitancy from Reject. What do you think tripped them up there? Crazy Raccoon was absolutely fast to capitalize on that, Trev.
I mean, to be fair, Reject, their draft, Ollie's just not good, in my opinion. I just don't think it's competitive worthy. There's much better picks on this map that they could have gone. He had a few moments here and there. He got that defense that was really nice, but straight after that, he kind of jumped out the way of defending the goal and kind of left a massive opening. A little bit unfortunate for him there, but I mean, Reject just didn't seem in control of the match whatsoever. They had some really good plays in that second game. They had the lead. They looked pretty convincing, but there was a few things in there that just didn't seem right for me.
We did see a little more out of Melty though, Ark, in this one. What would you attribute that to? Just the brawler?
I think just like, just trying to bring something out of the back pocket. Things are not working in the way that they should be at this stage of the competition. And I mean, it's just, I expected a bit more. I wanted to quote my favorite TV series is
And
when we came
as
in
I
back off that, 'cause
think
you
the
said,
worst competitive
brings me back
game
on the
of
winning team. Who's we?
Hot Zone.
Who's
Ring
we
of
here,
Fire is a very
Salsa?
competitive
That's
map.
all
So
of us
yeah.
except you, Ark. I'm so sorry.
Rubbing the
So
salt
nice
in
to
where it's
meet you.
unnecessary.
I mean,
It's
it
just
really
like,
is
I'm,
what we're having.
I'm very vulnerable right now.
Sing into enemy territory. Yes, you can kind of do that if you do.
No, what's done is done. I stand by it. But, I feel like Reject have just kind of gone from a match against Data, which was really, really great, to just making some questionable decisions here. But again, it's not over yet. That was, in my opinion, the best set we've seen from Reject so far. There were still some mistakes, but there were some better moments for sure. I just want to see the draft. For the majority of the sets that we've seen so far, Trav, that's where I feel that Reject just haven't had a good look in. They haven't hit a good draft in any of these sets, and it's not because they haven't really, it's their own fault for kind of picking brawlers that I just don't think are meta right now.
Yeah, well, they're taking Draco, which does seem a little bit of a step up. Honestly, I'd have preferred that to Ollie in the last set. But
Yeah.
but we'll see if Crazy Raccoon are able to get this done in 3. I'm hoping that Reject start to claw things back and make this a bit of a closer game.
My boy, Barry.
Crazy Raccoon are going to take the berry, though, and it's a very good pick at the moment. Frank as well into
Oh,
the Draco,
yeah,
another
with the
great
berry.
pick that Crazy Raccoon have managed to secure.
You
know, Frank's not usually a Ring of Fire brawler, but when you're faced with a brawler like Draco, sometimes it's got to be done.
Yeah, I was liking the Draco until I saw the Frank. And we saw as well earlier today in that interview with Milkria that he was saying that they love to have brawlers like Draco up their sleeve because they're just really, really aggressive in their face. So a bit of a nod to that really from Reject because they're kind of inside the minds of their opposition somewhat when it comes to this draft. And that's a promising thing. Griff, a really underrated brawler. I really didn't mind it actually coming in now as well. And Byron, probably there, I guess, in their minds to heal up the Draco to keep it relevant and in the mix. If it's the final pick from Crazy Raccoon. And honestly, it could be very much a winning draft from Crazy Raccoon here. I think the berry on a mode like Hot Zone just keeps everyone present on the objective. The heals able to be cycled there with the hypercharge as well. It can really just keep the Frank very, very relevant on that zone. Hard to shake. And the question is, have they really got the DPS to take care of it? The Griff can do a lot if really up close and personal, but this is not necessarily the map to do just that. And from what we've seen so far, regardless in this series, for Reject now to turn this one around, they've got to make some serious amendments, and they've got no time now to do it. So the pressure is on.
Yeah, I really like the Griff, I must say. I think it's a very solid pick. Going to be able to break up a good amount of the map and get a lot of damage in with those supers as well. But as you say, it's a lot of DPS they've got to burn through. But so far, so good.
Yeah, for sure. Not the worst of starts at all there for Reject. Batsman now going to break that second side, which he does. I like that for him, the picky bank. Moy going to find a good connection to Melty. The viral stand just diminishes there towards the end, and he does go down. But Shu, in the meanwhile, is still on the zone. Nice use the gadget there. I think the best way just to keep Milkria suppressed there as well. But look how much healing Berry can do. The survivor ability is just so disgusting. Hyper charge from Moya, flashing it forwards. Might not even go for it now, but just wants to create some space for his team. And I don't mind it.
We be coming back.
To Reject 19 and closing now.
Coming back.
Yeah, well, Berry's providing all the heals to his teammates. He needs some for himself as well. Batman taking some shots to the face. Good heal, though, coming in from Shu, and this turret moves further up. Establishing himself just there, but does go down, and Crazy Raccoon are gaining on what Reject have gotten.
Every single percentage is a win.
Yeah, big kills coming in from Milkria, gadget, and a super to follow up as well. And it really is meaning that Moya's survivability is in check. Oh, a second super cycle for super as well, but it's just leaving Tensai all alone, and that might be some wasted utility in all honesty. A nice super there from Batman as well.
Trap shot, Moya, let's go.
Finding Moya really nicely. So can he find a super as well and spam it? No, not enough time there. Moya will still fall, and Melty's still very much present. Just 20% now needed for Reject, and it's looking better. It's not done yet, however. We approached 90%. It should be in a good spot to do it. I don't want to speak too soon, though. Moya's going to go for one last stand. It's not going to be enough necessary. Shu and Melty still very much on that zone. And Reject defend against a potential match point scenario.
I mean, that was really good from Reject there, I will say. They just seemed in control of the match from start to finish. And Crazy Raccoon just cycling deaths. They got a little bit of percentage. They got around 50%, but all the heals in the world just wasn't enough to keep them alive when the Griff just starts cycling supers. And we see really good heals in some good situations from Shu as well. But all this DPS does heavily rely on Griff, and if they can start to do it in, then Reject's going to have some issues.
Is a good thing.
Already again, that same setup. Oh, is that going to be enough to connect? Oh, it leaves one tile there for Batman, so not the greatest there of Picky Banks, but nonetheless, I mean, it's that's going to maybe try to get both. Doesn't get the same. He might actually want to keep that tile. It's hard to say. And certainly the second one getting that push down in mind at all was still giving his teammates some time on the zone. Now he will fall, and Moya not having a great time at all on that right hand side. Great from Shu there. That poison tick over time really doing its worth, and these heals from Milkria still coming in, keeping everyone afloat. But again, the objective is all currently Reject.
Yeah, it's pretty good for Reject so far. Might be able to gain this set back and start gaining on Crazy Raccoon overall, but Some really good heals coming out from Milk Row now, but these Griff Supers are just tearing through them. And now getting some good control once more. Reject starting to push up and Melty doing a great job. Another Griff Super thrown out. Hypercharges coming left and right. Moya might be able to pick up Melty here and does get him stunned, but not going to be able to secure that kill. Now the gadget comes through and Moya only just gets him. And it's a 1v1, and that's something that Shu shouldn't lose with Splash. And another turret wasted there by Crazy Raccoon.
Yeah, but shooting that turret forced Shu to not heal as well, so he's now got Super at the right time to really kind of keep things standing a little bit more now. 92% for Reject. Big heals, hypercharged heals coming in from Milk Rio again, and now a great opportunity to cycle this forwards, but it's still not enough. And that says a great deal about this draft and Reject's ability to control the situation against all the odds. It's not going to be a sweep today, that's for sure. Reject survived just a little bit longer in this series, but how long can they do so for? Can they continue this forwards? Because the mistakes so far up until this point have been pretty unforgivable. Oh, we see the reason why though. Banaman coming in with a big fat 12. Wonderful stuff from him. 803 DPS is absolutely insane. That's gotta be a record. I've never seen DPS that high. That's unreal. Unreal.
It's 2-1.
That is what Bataman had to do to turn it around against Crazy Raccoon, though. But honestly, I couldn't be happier for you. This could be promising.
Never doubt them for a second.
And for all the viewers at home, we could get a full series here with this caliber of play. We've seen some really interesting back and forths here. Great matchup. Finally pulling this out for Reject. Break it down for me, Ark. How'd they do it?
I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned. If you had said going into this that I'd be feeling the way that I was towards Reject and how they'd handled this grand finals, that I'd be coming out of that third set, seeing the most DPS that I've ever seen in the BSC, but also the story that tells us to what Milk Rio was bringing to the table, because the only reason that DPS is that high is simply because of how well he was cycling on that berry pick. That was what I wanted to see this series start like. Both sides giving it their absolute all, and that's what we got. That set was a gift, honestly.
You almost get 100,000.
Right, we're getting into another one though. Can they maintain, or was that just a blip for Crazy Raccoons?
I think Reject can maintain. I think we should really be going to a set 5 here to decide who wins it all, because I think that's what both of these teams deserve, because of how closely matched they are. A really good draft for the past set for Reject though, so we'll see if they can do that yet again and take another win before the game even starts, or if Crazy Raccoon will be able to bounce back and take this in a 3-1 victory. On me, I hope Reject managed to take this one and we get a set 5 to decide it all, but as we head on into the draft of Layer Cake in Bounty, we should be slowing it back down a bit. It was very hectic there in Hot Zone, which isn't something you kind of come to expect on that mode.
Trav, you're gonna have to bring me back down to earth, mate, I'll be honest. I mean, can we just acknowledge the fact that the DPS record of the BSC just got broken by someone who retired in 2022? Like, I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous, but I love it. I really do. But Reject needed something in that set that was going to hopefully turn the tides back into some level of normality for them. And that is the catalyst that you want, isn't it, really? But let's see whether, in Bounty and Layer Cake, that proves to be the case. I would love this to go all the way. But they left the Juju open, and that's kind of my concern here. Picked up immediately by Crazy Raccoon, the bands being the Barley, the Melody, and of course the Shade there as well, the Lou, the Berry, and the Kit. Reject taking no chances there, and I appreciate them for it. But yeah, on a map like Layer Cake, it's a lot of like lake activity, bush activity. It's not a great thing to leave a Juju open, Trav. Unless, of course, you've got a really strong counter plan up your sleeve, and there's not really many of them when it comes to Juju. She's just that good.
Yeah, there really isn't. Stu's going to come in, though, trying to take this mobility and possibly be able to get round these shots that Juju's going to be throwing out. But with no Barley, no Berry, those are two very good throwers out of the way, and Juju on the side of Crazy Raccoon. You start to doubt Reject. There's a little bit of doubt creeping into my mind that we'll be seeing in set number 5, but Stu is a great place to start for this roster, and we'll see what they add to it as well. Obviously, Kit being banned out of the way, I couldn't be more pleased about that, considering how much this region loves to play it. And then Gus to go along with this Stu.
Nah.
Much prefer the Gus to the Stu, but I do appreciate the pressure of which the Stu can bring when you're sort of pushed up against the wall. Stu can dash in, dash out, the hypercharge, of course, really just adding to that whole thing. But Wasn't the brawler that I would ever have expected as a first pick though on a map like Layer Cake. Let's see what Crazy Raccoon are considering bringing in on top of this Juju pick, and certainly I think range would be a good shout. You gotta have something against Gus, RT. Yeah, I do like that quite a lot. I think that is really in a good spot for me as a brawler, especially now that they've sort of changed some of the gadgets. The Hacks gadget was always a really good one for it, but out of line now gives you the option to be able to get an immediate
Tensai with the Janet.
bring RT into a very nice place in the meta. Janet, love that pick. You know, wouldn't have ever thought that I'd be here saying that. You know, looking back from last year, if someone said, you know, the first monthly final of the year, you're going to be loving a Janet pick in Bounty. But that's what the Hyperchargers really brought to the table for her. And of course, with some really versatile gadgets for her as well, like the drop the base, having that radius of damage that, you know, lets you've got something to really reach it with. It stays and remains.
Let's go over the picks.
Moya,
Juju, Milkrio,
like the World Finals lead up to.
Janet,
Now,
Melty,
is it as
Kenji,
good as it once was? I'm not overly convinced, but I don't mind it at all.
It's not as good as it once was, to put it simply. But Crazy Raccoon, I like what they've got. The Janet and the Juju are really speaking to me, and then the RT as well. It's a solid pick. Going to be decent against defending against that Kenji at close range when the other two can't really. Janet and Juju not got the best of damage at close range, or the best of damage at all, I should say. So that gives Reject a little bit of an in, and especially if they can chain these Stu Supers, get that mobility going. They're not going to be in a bad place at all to be able to, you know, have a good fight here.
Well, a quick dash in there from Shoot to get that blue star. Immediately so, but no respect to Reject for continuing the aggression forwards despite having it. Normally we see teams go immediately back on the defense, but Shoot's not doing that, so definitely going to be some fireworks in this set. Sure, it feels to me. Shoot's still going in as well. That's a bit overzealous, I think, but the Juju now has Grigri as well, going with the slice and dice, gets it as well, and back out. Ooh, Reject is starting to cook. 5 stars of a lead now, and that blue. And they're looking more aggressive than ever.
Yeah, I'm surprised Milkrio didn't just place the Grigri when the Kenji was kind of in her face. It probably would have defended it considering he was one shot. But nice aggression coming in from Reject, and you can't fault them for how well they're playing. Goes in, takes out the drop the base as well, but it's only a couple of kills in between Crazy Raccoon and a nice equalizer. So Milkrio getting a few shots in, and Shu over aggressors, and that provides 3 of the stars.
Yes, they are now getting into a much better position. Grigri coming out, and against the... Yeah, that's the other thing as well. Picking Kenji into Juju's such a statement here by Shu. He's got to really put his weight on it.
Kill Battle Man. Kill
Battle
Man, and they're in the lead.
Look at this. Milkrio's getting some good taps. Nice, though, gadget from Melty. But he's pushed right back here. 64 HP. She's got a tank, and he does. Oh, this is really not good, though, for Reject. They're going to be going all down if they're not careful here.
So close, narrowly missed that shot by Tensai, but Milkrio will finish that one off. Batoman needs to try and get forwards and get something going. Tensai doesn't get around the wall, which is going to set him back a little bit on this retreat. But Shu can definitely make it happen in these closing seconds. A few slice and dices, but there's the Grigri. Now he's pushing forwards, just going to ignore it for now. Great shots coming in, though, and he's going to get the heal off one of those ghosts. Stu, 1 shot, 8 seconds on the clock. Melty so low, and 2 go down. Batoman can only stand and watch as Crazy Raccoon get to match point.
Great composure from Crazy Raccoon there. And absolutely deserved. There was some moments where I thought maybe Reject could hold the lead there, especially towards a flying start. It really was. But you know, you've got to be able to hold that and get the balance between aggression and defense. They just didn't really seem to.
We did it. Wait, I just left for no reason. I obviously where was that? Give me that boy.
In a grand finals, now you've got to hold on to that a little bit.
Oh wait,
better.
it's starting.
And I think this Kenji pick's going to really struggle with. Milkrio staying on top of things the entire way through, which he's been doing really quite successfully. Tensai
getting
as well
the lead on
Batman. No, this could be it. I mean, this is a match point scenario here. If Crazy Raccoon can win this game, they will take the first monthly final of the year home.
In a great position for them to be in as well. Oh, down he goes though, and that's 3 stars flipped, and Batman continues going forward. Reject seem like they don't want to back off at all. They have this aggressive comp, and they know that. They need to stay on these front lines, but we do see them slightly backing up now, but it was when they got in these back lines when they started to struggle in the last game.
Batman trying to move forwards here, but look at Moya immediately puts down the legs there as well, and shoots force back. Milkrio shielded. Batman finds Moya there as well. 6 stars now, but we've seen bigger leads with Reject in that last game. They lost Look at that, as quickly as they say it, Batman goes down, feeding stars over. Now it's just the blue as a separation. Batman coming back in. Very careful of Moya here on this RT pick because he is quite the threat. And now McGregor coming in yet again. You know, I'm worried for sure the Kenji once more as Tenso takes
I'm
the
really
side.
happy.
Melter gets hit there, down to 64 HP. Shoes one shot, Slice and Dice comes in, he goes down. And Tensai in the back lines will trade out, but the blue star remains with Crazy Raccoon. They're going to start to retreat now and play on this defensive line as we do have the legs available for Moya as well if Shu comes in aggressive. But they have to be careful about dropping these because anyone goes down and Reject can even it out.
No
HP from McGregor, but Batman's even lower, dashes away. The Gassy Hill coming in clutch, but at the end of the day,
43,
it is still Reject
12,
that do need to get a kill. Blue is with
10,
Crazy Raccoon. If no one goes down,
7,
it will be
8,
theirs. 9
6,
seconds, Shu going for one final ditch attempt, but
5,
McGregor pops the
4,
shield. Everyone
3,
still stays standing. It's going to be now or never, and Shu is low. Shu goes down. It's going to tip the balance.
Champions.
And Crazy Raccoon are your champions.
There we
for
go,
East Asia.
boys.
They are the monthly final victors.
We're the world champions.
We're getting victory celebrations. We're getting great vibes. I love to see it, and I'm so happy for them after a marathon performance tonight. And both of you can speak better than I can to the long history that's led up to this moment for this roster, but I love seeing the joy on their faces.
I mean, it was another one of Milcreo's famous dances being on show there at the end. So pleased that he's able to win this one and prove that Crazy Raccoon still can succeed.
That's been my prediction.
Even with roster changes, but 3-2-3 and 2-1-2
I mean,
not that
just
far
knew
apart.
CR
Reject
was
had their
gonna win,
moments.
honestly.
It was just those kind of
What?
flip of stars and
That
how
comes, like,
aggressive
the
they kind of
exact
had to
second
be.
you get out.
That when they had the lead and had to drop into a defensive position, they were kind of hung out to dry.
I think for me as well, Shu there. Just the one takedown, 70 DPS. I mean, on that Kenji pick, which you got to remember, they picked into the Juju as well. So they were taking a massive risk. It wasn't like that. It was a countermeasure in the draft. They knew what they were doing, and it just didn't pay off. They obviously had, in their opinion, an advantage with it, despite it being a really rough matchup. It didn't shine through. The damage just did not reflect in any way at all, and that was really the thorn in his side from start to finish. Milcreor played that Juju to perfection, and thoroughly deserving of taking the win here for Crazy Raccoon. Not the cleanest of days, certainly I would say by reflection of other years as well. Crazy Raccoon have normally looked a lot more threatening than today, but hey, a win is a win, and they absolutely deserved it.
Absolutely. Looking at what they had to go through to get here, taking out effort result to start. Na'Vi, one of the favorites, and then Reject, another team that had absolutely blown through this bracket with unexpected, clean, and fearsome plays. But they're sitting here, our victors of the very first East Asia monthly finals for our Brawl Stars Champions League, and it's gotta feel great to be the first ones out the gate with such a great title and so many great games behind them to look back on. And looking back on here, as I'm sure lots of other teams will in the coming competitive weeks and months, any takeaways that you've seen that you really want to shout out? Any, if you're just joining us, there's a whole VOD for you to go watch, but I got two casters here who know the best moments, so shout one out for me, Art.
For me, I've got to say, I'm very excited to see what the remaining months will bring for this region. I mean, we've seen big roster shakeups, bigger than we've ever really seen in East Asia. A lot of these big titans now on opposing teams. So, I mean, that is really for me where I think East Asia is gonna be going and getting bigger and better as some of these like roster movements that have taken a bit of time to settle in and become really more at home with each other. They're going to settle in. They're going to be getting stronger, and the competition is really going to be rising and heating up as we go throughout the year. So I think Reject did a really good stand today. I think the best team won on the day as well. I think Crazy Raccoon will only go from strength to strength now. Still have some reservations going into that grand finals, but they've proved me wrong, and I'm glad that they did it as well. But for the other teams as well, for Zeta, this one is not done yet. We're going to see a response, and I cannot wait for when it comes.
And we have a community vote information as well. They've selected Milcreor as our MVP. How do you feel about that, Trav?
I feel that's fair. He's genuinely played really well. Subbing into a roster like Crazy Raccoon can definitely be pretty daunting, especially when the man you're replacing is Chitambo. It definitely is extremely hard to come in with that much pressure on your back to succeed and do as well as he did. It was definitely a very strong performance from him today.
Fantastic performance by him, by all of our players, especially our ones who made it all the way to the grand finals. And fantastic performance by you guys. A real marathon of games, brought so much information. I'm constantly learning so much, so I'm going to hand it over to you two to share your final thoughts as we close out this first monthly final. Trav, start us off.
I mean, I'm just so pleased I can be back with the East Asia region. It's been a few years since I've been on this one, but I'm very, very pleased to be back with, the region with arguably the strongest mechanical skill. It's very, very interesting to be back here and seeing all these different games and drafts play out with some of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, for me, I'm just super excited to see as we approach towards the Brawl Cup, who are going to be those teams that make it through to that stage of the competition. That's the new big LAN event that we got coming up this year. I guess what many are referring to as the MSI, but I think the Brawl Cup's a great branding for it. And I think that for me, there is a big race happening at the moment, and we kind of got to keep our eyes on that and see who is going to prevail and who's going to come out on top as we approach those first opening months and beyond. Then when we get to the LCQ, when we get to the World Finals, how this region is going to fare, because again, they're a little bit still behind in their draft, but they are closing that gap increasingly. So we're seeing a lot of East Asia teams getting in analysts and coaches from more European regions and more North American regions. That's an exciting prospect. So they know their weaknesses and they are building upon them as well. And I think it's only a matter of time before we see East Asia really, really turn up the heat on the entire space of the BSC.
It's going to be exciting to watch it happen, and as you are so generous to call out, we've got lots more regions to cover. We'll in fact be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. CET with our EMEA region, and we'll be back next weekend with lots more games for you. It goes all year. It is a bevy of Brawl Stars this year, and I am so grateful to be part of it. I've been your host, Rachel, aka Seltzer. I'll be seeing you all around. Thank you so much to Ark, to Trav, to our Ready Set, wherever you are. Thanks. And to our incredible production team. Let's leave you with some highlights, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good night.
And that was basically it. I'm gonna close out my stream. Tomorrow I might stream the EMEA region. I'm not sure. I may do it. I don't know. Just bye. Have a great day.